Hello everyone, so here's my game assumptions and this is the latest update, and I wanted to thank everyone for all their feedback. I've applied a lot of it into my game and my updates, so I'm really excited to show you all what I've done so far. So this is all the same for now, and this is where everything sort of starts to alter, and I've adjusted the navigational system, I've added meaningful questions, I've added guiding narrative to help the player become more engaged, but also engage with critical thinking skills and like, what are we trying to learn from this? Why are we doing this? So yes, I just wanted to, and I also added, remember to write down everything you find important because I wanted to add that note element, like just write down a couple of notes, just like you would if you were actually doing data collection. So let's go into newspapers. So with newspapers, I've added a thoughtful question, and as you can see, my navigational system has also changed where it's saying return to office. So if I click this, it'll return us straight to the office, which is great. So I'm going to go back to the newspapers though. And I've added a little narration here to have them focus on a little something, but without being too specific that they know exactly what they're looking for. And I have a good meaningful question right here. I'm going to just go into one of these sections, and I'll also show you that you have a go back to newspaper. So it's going to have that in each section, like go back to folder, go back to other books, and so on and so forth. As you can see, I also added a continue reading element. So if you click this, you have more information, so it's less overwhelming to the viewer. So let's go back to the newspaper, shall we? Okay, so you see that works and everything is working great, but I want to go back to the office, so let's go back there. It's going to be the same concept in every section, such as the book section. They have a guiding narrative and also a thoughtful question. And of course, they'll have access to this data and they can go through it themselves. And yes, those are the main things that I've changed. So now let's go into the Twine game. So here is a look behind the scenes and what is happening. Basically, you see all these arrows and everything like that between passages. So all of these passages are connecting with each other, and that's because of the fact that I'm adding that navigational system. So if you see these two little arrows here, that's because they're both connected. That's why you can go back and forth. So I'm going to go into little coding for you. So this is how I'm adding a continue reading element, and this is where I do all of this. Like, this is hidden until you press this. You have to press that link in order to uncover this information. That's what each of these elements is going to look like. I also adjusted image sizes to be more appropriate, and I'll show you one of those. As you can see, I made a little more of a distinction on what I wanted the height and width to be. I've also added edit story, spreadsheet. This is more information. I had everything center. I added that this element, which is supposed to basically make the image look good on all screens. So yes, this is the game so far. So now I'm going to go into the capstone. So with design, I feel like I am going in the right direction, especially with the additions I added for the easy to navigate. I also think that I'm following the good use of principles of visual design because I'm adding different elements to it, such as audio, images, video, and narration to better engage the player so they can have a more immersive, appealing experience, both visually and auditorially. So I basically think I'm following multimedia theory by adding these other sensory experiences for the player. So for technique, I feel like I now have a lot more of an understanding on how Twine works, and I'm really honing in on my skills. I also wanted to say I acquired new skills because I actually was able to get the browser to work, so now it can actually play the game in the browser. How I was also teaching myself and engaging in self-guided learning. I was learning from productive failure and then asking for help when necessary. So for connection to theme, my project is all about data literacy, and that's the central theme because of the fact that clues are data. And basically what I wanted to do was frame the game player as solving an information related problem with historical data. Thank you so much for listening.